what can we do to make things better for people? One of the areas that we've received at the economic management team, for example, complaints about is the regularity in the changes in the exchange rate every Monday at the port. And that, for a lot of importers, is a bit destabilizing, because you may import your good and the exchange rate is A, and by the time it arrives, it's A plus something, and then your calculation of the duty that you should have paid suddenly changes, and it can be a bit destabilizing. When we looked at this, we think that is actually something we have to address. It's not something that makes sense when you look at what we need to do in terms of predictability, because business works well in predictable environments. So our proposal is that instead of doing these Monday changes in the exchange rate at the port, we should look at it every 6 months.
He also stated that government will do all it can to ensure that there is sufficient local content policies in all aspects of the economy.
A strong economy expands opportunities and inspires more individuals to start new ventures. One of the fundamental driving factors is how we signal our aspirations as a government and how we translate these aspirations into policies. Our firm belief is that we cannot build a capable economy if we don't develop local capabilities. Our local content and local participation policies in the oil and gas, mining and energy sectors are driven by the realities of our development. Some are calling for more local content in other sectors of the economy, especially in areas like the construction industry, where there are ample opportunities for backward and forward linkages and provides ample opportunities for job creation.
For the president of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Yao Edu Jimfi, he believes government should review the introduction of the 5% straight VAT that was introduced in the 2018 mid-year budget review in order to promote the growth of the manufacturing sector.
The introduction of the recent 5% straight VAT in the last mid-year review budget, for example, does not favor manufacturing at all. It is becoming a cost to us that we cannot bear. We have brought this to the attention of the Minister of Finance and has given us opportunity to engage a technical team working on this. And we looked at, Your Excellency, this matter will be looked at critically, because this 5% is also going to add, and will not be.
So, City TV, it has received approval from the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) to raise 340 million Ghana cedis in shares from the Ghanaian investing public. According to the bank had already gotten a no objection from the Bank of Ghana as well as the Ghana Stock Exchange to raise capital on the GSE by offloading over 50% of its shares. Here are excerpts of the statement from the bank.
The bank is floating millions of shares to investors through an initial public offer. The shares will subsequently be listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange, where they will trade on the secondary market. Expressing delight about the approval of the IPO, which will enable the bank to recapitalize ahead of time to the tune of 400 million cedis, Board Chairman Dr. Jimu Ibrahim said Energy Commercial Bank is moving to another level by listing on the GSE, offering opportunities to many Ghanaians and investors to become part owners of the noble but vibrant institution. Meanwhile, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the bank, Christiana Olawiye, for her part said the bank has performed well over the years, maintaining health capital adequacy and liquidity ratios, thereby ensuring safety of depositors' funds and maximizing returns to shareholders. IC Securities is the transaction advisor and is expected to market the shares to many investors within the country.
Well, moving away from that, Minister for Works and Housing, Samuel Atachia, has advocated for the formation of a legal regime under which members of the Ghana Institute of Surveyors will have their licenses revoked for performing shoddy works. He was of the view that such an action will improve standards in the industry and also help monitor the activities of surveyors.
Speaking to City Business News at the sidelines of the maiden annual Construction Industry Lecture, Mr. Atachia stated that the Ministry of Housing will give its full support to the Institute of Surveyors to ensure that members of the institute abide by the rules and regulations of the industry.
I do not see how you can have serious professionals who are not sanctioned by law that will promote impunity and waywardness. So for surveyors and planners, they should come together, and maybe all the professionals in the industry come under a proper umbrella of law. Ghana Bar Association, if you joke, they can even debar you. So we could check the quantity surveyors who might want to inflate, figures for the benefit of a client, whatever they want to do. And if you joke, they'll take your certificate from you. So that is very, very imperative. But if you make it a voluntary association, people might join or might not join, and it doesn't help. We are here. They should give us their concerns. We formulate cabinet memos, and then we get bills through, and then it can be passed into law. Those who are affected by the shabby treatment of the system should be up in arms in getting laws passed to favor them.
He also stated that governments will address in the next budget the rents bill, which seeks to ensure that landlords only charge rents from 1 month to a year advance. The bill, which will be laid before Parliament soon if approved, will require tenants to pay between 1 month and a year's rent advance. Meanwhile, a professor of project management at the London South Bank University in the UK and a director of research at the School of Built Environment and Architecture, George Ofori, said it is important to enhance local content in the construction industry to help create jobs for Ghanaians.
The industry has certain features that no other industry has. The first one is that the items that we need to create by the industry, the buildings, the roads, the airports, the harbors, the bridges, the irrigation canals, the dams, the factories, all those items, each of them has to be built where it is needed. You can't build it elsewhere and move it to put it there. And so while it is being built, it has an impact on everyone in the locality. So the chairman would always sit in his office and watch something happening on the building that is happening outside. It couldn't have been done elsewhere and brought to that place to be installed. Very important. And therefore, it means that these items that are being created will lead to jobs in the area, will lead to generation of activity in the area.
You're still watching the Business Dashboard on City TV. My name is Bobbie. Osei. When we return, cryptocurrency analysts urge the Bank of Ghana to expedite processes in formulating laws to regulate the cryptocurrency industry. Details when we return.
For regular news checks as they unfold. 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
Quero ver todo mundo balançando. Ninguém pode ficar parado. É só loucura.
Witness the twisted and tangled story of betrayal, greed, vengeance, and love in the award-winning Brazil Avenue. Carminia, a woman led by greed, gets rid of her husband, who is Rita's father, and sends Rita away to a filthy landfill. Rita finds love in Batata, but they are soon separated by adoption into different families, far away from each other. Many years later, all paths cross again, as Rita, now a renowned chef, seeks to pay back her stepmother for taking away her happiness as a child. It's a story of twists, turns, suspense, and thrilling action in Brazil Avenue. Brazil Avenue, coming soon only on City TV. Brazil Avenue.
You're welcome back to the Business Dashboard on City TV. My name is Bobbie. Let's bring you some more of the latest business stories. Now, the chairman of iZones Limited and former presidential candidate Kwesi Amoafo-Yeboah has expressed doubt over the ability of locally backed telecommunication companies to successfully deploy the 4G spectrums being sold by the National Communications Authority, NCA. The NCA, which auctioned and sold off one block of spectrum in 2015 to MTN, is putting 3 blocks of 4G spectrum out for sale. Now, speaking to City Business News, the chairman of iZone Limited, Kwesi Amoafo-Yeboah, said local companies that buy the spectrum will face a difficult task in deploying it.
The thing is, the telecom space is a very tough area to be if you're not deep-pocketed. So I don't see many Ghanaians with the kind of money to compete in that area. You know, the likes of Vodafone and Glow and even Tigo Airtel are struggling. So while it may sound good that, you know, we're allowing Ghanaians to participate, it's going to be extremely difficult. I mean, you can acquire it, but then you have to spend millions to deploy. And you deploy, now you've got to go against the giants like the MTN, the, you know, Vodafones and Tigo Airtels, you know, in the market. The investment required is what I'm talking about. I mean, you got to be in there and be able to hang in there until you acquire a critical number of subscribers. Otherwise, it becomes difficult to just stay alive. You see what is happening with Setline and Busy and the first wave of companies that acquire the 4G. They are having a tough time. I don't think it's just the cost of the spectrum. The cost of the spectrum is just a small portion of the investment that is required. It's like, you know, having enough money to go buy yourself a Mercedes-Benz. You can buy it, but now going forward, you got to maintain it. That's where the problem comes. You know, you buy the license, the spectrum, now you got to deploy the network and be able to have enough money to maintain the network while you are building up your customer base. That's where the problem is, you know, because, I mean, you got to put up towers, you got to put up radios, you got to, you know, spend millions of dollars on marketing just to acquire. And let's face it, you know, what is going to happen? Ghanaians are going to buy it and they're going to go looking for partners outside to basically come and dilute their position, and you still have a market that's dominated by foreign-owned companies.
Well, moving away from telecommunications, let's head into the world of cryptocurrencies. Now, analysts in the space are urging the Bank of Ghana to expedite processes to formulate laws to regulate their business. They want the regulator to step in to avert a possible controversy between it and the patrons of the product. The upscale of the use of cryptocurrency has been met with mixed reactions, considering the complex nature of the system. But an advocate of cryptocurrency, Professor Ni Nakukweno, believes addressing the regulatory gap should be of priority to the Bank of Ghana.
Because I'm a computer scientist, I'm totally convinced that cryptocurrencies will live. Okay? Because you have not shown me any other alternative. There's no native currency on the internet except this cryptocurrency. So for you to say you won't adopt it, you must show me an alternative. Because if your mobile money that you send among yourself is not recognized in the US, if I send you cryptocurrency, you can send it to somebody in Russia, it is recognized. You understand? So we need to go through all those thought processes. And I'm glad that the Central Bank is open enough to have a discussion ensue. Because if you act too quickly, you also kill investment, you kill, you know, innovation and all this and all that. So let's have a dialogue. And I accept as a computer scientist that every one of our things goes through a long period of scrutiny because it may have negative impacts, it may have ethics issues. Now, if you think blockchain is troublesome, you wait till artificial intelligence comes and it's going to be displacing you, because I can say robots come and take the pictures and do the interview. Okay, so there are implications. And not only that, what if the robots are biased?
So, a senior lecturer at the economics department of the University of Ghana, Dr. Ebu Texin, has charged management of Mensgo to be decorous in challenging the Securities and Exchange Commission over questions regarding its legality. Now, this follows the company's decision to hire international law firm Baker and McKenzie to challenge the regulator over the suspension of part of its operations. The lawyers are expected to meet managers of the SEC. Now, Men's Gold is a gold dealership company that trades in gold for its customers for a return. Now, according to Dr. Texin, management of the company must use the laws to defend their operations.
Every firm and every industry has regulators. And the regulators would always want to see that all participants in that industry are doing the right thing. And so if you look at the arguments that the SEC is saying, that part of the activities of Men's Gold is in dealing with securities, and therefore they want them to obtain the license that they need to be able to go on with their normal business. And that not until the license have been obtained, do not allow them to go on. Men's Gold says that no, what you are doing is not in the purview of the Securities Exchange Commission. But the question that we need to ask is that what was the initial license that was given to Men's Gold? They were given a license to Osei gold and then exports, which they can go on doing because the Mineral Commission is in charge of doing that. Now, with the aspect of collecting deposits or what we call gold collectibles, and then promising a return to individuals who deposit whatever it is with them, then you tend to think that it looks more like they are dealing in securities. And it is in their own interest for them to obtain the requisite license and then go on to do their normal business. I don't think that anybody or any institution in this country can deprive any entity that is legally doing its business from going on to do that.
So more companies are gearing up for the City Business Olympics, which will take place on this Saturday, at the Telecom Sports Complex in Accra. The companies are expected to compete in different games, including football, swimming, chess, table tennis, basketball, among other games. Now, ahead of the games, Total Ghana tell us how they are preparing to win more trophies on the day.
For the competition. You can see we are already charged. Come Saturday. Are you ready for Total? We are talking about Total. When it comes to awards, when it comes to the best business in Ghana, we are talking Total. So watch out for Total this Saturday. We are going to watch you guys in football, whatever competition you have, swimming, so you wait for me. This Saturday, we are bringing you down. This is Total. You feel me? We are coming live and telling. We have the best MD, the best marketing department, in fact, the best team in this country. Wait for Total.
Well, on that note, you're still watching the Business Dashboard on City TV. We're taking a breather here. When we return, though, we'll bring you some of the latest business stories on the international front. Stay with us.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you. 30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
Every Thursday night on City TV, you're welcome to join women from different backgrounds and opinions as they weigh in on your relationship issues. Watch Sister Sister as the ladies get real with issues about love, marriage, betrayal, sex, dating, trust, finances, and more.
And his goals and aims and ambitions, including like marital life or children. You should know that from the beginning. And when you have a deep conversation, you should be able to sense the vibe or the energy, but you should have that conversation so that you know what you're going in for. And then you advise yourself upon what you want and what the person wants.
Join Jessica and her sisters for City TV's all-women talk show, Sister Sister, every Thursday at 9 p.m.
It's good to have you back for the Business Dashboard. Let's bring you some international stories. Now, Kweku Adoboli, a former UBS trader jailed for a $2.25 billion fraud, has won a temporary reprieve from deportation to Ghana, his spokesman said on Monday. Adoboli, who was born in Ghana but has lived in Britain since he was 12, has been granted a review by the Interior Ministry, meaning he will likely be allowed to go back to his home in Scotland for several months. Common sense has broken out, sending a 38-year-old man to a country where he has not lived since the age of 4 was always madness, his spokesman said in an emailed statement. Quote, "It is anticipated that Kweku will be allowed home to his Scottish family and partner, Alice, within the next 5 to 10 days. The full review process is likely to take several months," end quote. Adoboli, who does not have British citizenship, has been appealing against a 2014 order by British authorities that he should be sent back to Ghana as a foreign criminal. He was released from prison on probation in 2015 after serving half of a 7-year sentence, but was then detained pending deportation. He was convicted in 2012 over the huge losses to UBS, Britain's biggest ever fraud, caused by trades far in excess of his authorized risk limit, which he had pretended to hedge by booking bogus offsetting trades. Regulators banned him from working in the financial services industry in 2015, while UBS was fined £29.7 million, that's $38 million, for systems and control failures. Now, China has hit back at President Donald Trump by imposing new trade tariffs on $60 billion of American goods. It comes after the U.S. slapped duties on $200 billion of Chinese imports on Monday, escalating its trade war with Beijing. Now, China will target American goods such as liquefied natural gas, which are produced in states loyal to the U.S. president. However, in a tweet, Mr. Trump warned Beijing against seeking to influence the upcoming U.S. midterm elections. Quote, "There will be great and fast economic retaliation against China if our farmers, ranchers, and/or industrial workers are targeted," end quote, he said. Earlier, he had suggested that this would mean further U.S. tariffs on another $267 billion worth of Chinese products. Such a move would mean roughly all of China's exports to the U.S. will be subject to new duties. The Chinese Commerce Ministry said it would impose its tariffs from 24th September, the date the U.S. duties come into effect, but at lower rates than previously expected. This latest round means that about half of all Chinese imports to the U.S. are now subject to the new duties. And for our final international story, BMW's mini factory in Oxford will shut down for a month after Brexit at the end of March to minimize disruption in case of a no-deal outcome. Now, owner BMW said its summer maintenance shutdown had been brought forward to 1st April to reduce any possible short-term parts supply disruption. Now, while we believe this worst-case scenario is an unlikely outcome, we have to plan for it, BMW said. The German firm said it remained committed to its UK operations. The Cowley plant on the outskirts of Oxford will remain open in April, with maintenance, management and catering staff continuing to work despite no cars being made. The plant employs 4,500 people and produces 5,000 cars a week. BMW said the downtime will be used to start preparing the plant to make the new electric Mini. Well, on that note, that brings us to an end of today's edition of the Business Dashboard on City TV. For more business stories, do visit citybusinessnews.com. Well, many thanks for staying with us on the Business Dashboard on City TV. My name is Bobbie. Osei will come your way tomorrow with more of the latest stories from the world of business at 7 p.m. Do enjoy City TV. Bye-bye.